Have you ever looked into a goat's eyes? I mean, really look. Beyond those quirky horizontal pupils, there's a spark of something extraordinary. A mischievous intelligence, a deep-seated curiosity, and a surprising capacity for emotion that most people never get to see. Today, we're not just talking about cute farm animals. We're diving deep into the world of a truly remarkable goat named Pip. And his story will completely change the way you think about these amazing creatures. I first met Pip on a small, family-run farm nestled in a quiet valley. He wasn't the biggest goat in the herd, nor the loudest, but there was something about him that drew you in. While the other goats would rush the fence for a handful of feed, Pip would hang back, observing. He'd watch your hands, watch your eyes, and only when he seemed to decide you were trustworthy would he approach, giving a gentle nudge with his head. The farmer, a wise old man named Arthur, told me Pip was the herd's problem-solver. One scorching summer, the water pump that supplied their trough broke down. The herd was getting restless and thirsty. While the other goats bleated in distress, Arthur saw Pip doing something incredible. He was systematically nudging a loose board on the side of the barn, a board that covered an old hand-crank well pump from a bygone era. Arthur had never used it in front of the goats. Somehow, Pip associated that specific spot with water and was trying to show him the solution. It was a stunning display of memory and abstract thinking. But Pip's intelligence wasn't just practical. It was deeply social. His best friend in the herd was an old arthritic goat named Willow. Willow had trouble keeping up, especially when Arthur moved them to a new pasture. The other goats would race ahead, eager for fresh greens. But not Pip. He would always stay behind, walking at Willow's slow, careful pace. He'd wait for her at the gate, often nudging her gently as if to say, "Come on, you can do it. I'm right here with you." It was a profound display of empathy and friendship, a bond that went beyond simple herd instinct. One of the most fascinating things about goats is their communication. It's not just random bleating. They have different calls for different things. There's a soft, gentle murmur for their kids, a sharp, urgent bleat for danger, and a sort of grumbling complaint when they're annoyed. Arthur explained that he could understand his herd's mood just by listening. Pip, he said, had the most complex vocabulary of all. He would make a specific soft sound only when he saw Arthur coming with a bucket of his favorite oat treats. It was his special thank you. This ability to form strong individual bonds extends to humans, too. Studies have shown that goats, much like dogs, can interpret human emotional cues. They can distinguish between a happy and an angry facial expression and will actively seek out people who appear friendly and welcoming. When I would visit the farm feeling stressed, Pip seemed to sense it. He wouldn't bound over for treats. Instead, he'd approach slowly and just stand beside me, resting his head against my leg. It was an incredibly calming presence, a silent offering of comfort that spoke volumes. He wasn't just looking for food. He was engaging, connecting on an emotional level. One winter, a fierce storm blew through the valley. A large tree branch fell and broke a section of the fence. And in the chaos, a young kid named Squeaky got separated from the herd. The next morning, Arthur did a head count and realized Squeaky was missing.
The herd was agitated, bleating and running nervously along the intact fence line. But Pip was gone.
A pang of fear hit Arthur, but he trusted his clever goat. He followed a set of distinct hoof prints leading away from the panic and into a dense thicket of woods. And there, Huddled under a rocky overhang to shelter from the wind was Pip, standing guard over a shivering, terrified Squeaky. He hadn't abandoned the herd. He had gone on a rescue mission. He had stayed with the lost kid all night, keeping him safe and warm until help arrived. When Pip saw Arthur, he let out a low bleat, a call of pure relief.
It was a moment that cemented Pip's status as a legend on the pharma hero with hooves.
This kind of behavior challenges our old-fashioned ideas about farm animals. We often see them as a collective, a resource, rather than as individuals with rich inner lives. But stories like Pip show us the truth. Te fail loy, te fail fear. They form deep friendships, and they show incredible intelligence and compassion. Each one is a unique personality, a thinking, feeling being. They problem solve, they communicate, they care for one another, and they can even care for us. The time I spent with Pip taught me so much. It taught me to look closer, to listen more carefully, and to appreciate the complex world that exists right under our noses. These animals have so much to teach us about resilience, community, and empathy, if we just take a moment to pay attention. The next time you see a goat, I hope you'll remember Pip's story. Look past the funny bit and the silly antics and see the intelligent, emotional individual looking back at you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the herd. If you were touched by Pippa's story and want to see more content that celebrates the incredible world of animals, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us bring more stories like this to you. See you in the next one!